Mizoram culture that is in Assam and Manipur as well with this project. And we can never isolate these two other states while we're talking about the Tipaimukh Dam. Because here also we're taking the case of the Tipaimukh Dam as the context of our dialogue today. As we said, many of us, the political scientists, the economists, or whatever, have started clubbing together dams and development since birth of the Indian state. However, if we look at the case of Arunachal now, or the case of China, very recently the government of China started damming this river, which is supposed to be the real mouth of Brahmaputra, and there was a strong protest from the government of India. Similarly, it was with this Tipaimukh Dam. It was strongly resisted and protested by the government of Bangladesh as well. They even went to the extent of passing a resolution not to allow them to be built. Same as with the government of the time of this RBC. And if one looks at all this process, it is certain that we cannot limit ourselves to talking about this issue, whatever it is, in our own context, but have to relate it to other parts of the boundaries as well, be it in Mizoram, be it in Assam, or be it Bangladesh as well. So, because of this, the challenging issues today is about river sharing, river interlinking of rivers, which has become a global issue as well. However, as we have seen many dialogue discourses, writings, and findings, I must say that the most important aspects has always been left out. We've been just rewriting all the same issue with a twist of language and whatever it is. But if one looks at the target of development, earlier one of our elders said that the three core targets of the Tipaimukh Dam was irrigation and flood control and electricity generation. Two were something that we don't need at all in our cases. And if, again, flood control was a big concern, then the damming of this river by China is supposed to be a big panacea to the government, for the government of India as well, but it is not. So we see, talking about dams and development, we see relativity of issues and relativity of agendas, which we have to carefully deal with it. So, because of this, in the course of our research, in the course of our survey, what we have been trying to do is bring out the forgotten indigenous people's perspective, which were never delivered anywhere. And it is sometimes very shameful on the part of the government of India as well as other implementing agencies when we go deep into understanding what the indigenous people's perception of development is with dams. And if we talk about, when we talk about this Tipaimukh Dam, as I said, we have to take these three states, particularly Assam, Manipur, and Mizoram, into consideration, because the river has its course, and this feeds everyone, and particularly these three states. And when we talk about the geography of this dam site, not very far from this Tipaimukh Dam site, we have another dam called Buhril, multi-purpose hydroelectric site. And not very far from there, we have Serluin B project again. And then we have Tuivai project again. And then we have Tuivol project again. So in this very small constituency, we have all these big dams, all these projects coming up. It's targeted to generate, taking account of this projects, about 1,800 megawatt of electricity. And if one goes to the side of Mizoram, the villages out there were told that this project is coming up, so whoever leaves the village first will be the safest. There's a kind of information that's given to them that this project is coming up, and the only option for them is to leave the place, to vacate the place. The same is the case with on Mizoram side, on Manipur side, on Qatar side as well. So if one looks at all this process, which are supposed to be democratic, we realize that, or we come to the conclusion that there is no decentralization of information, or there is no democratization of this project, which is supposed to be, which is supposed to deliver development. So, looking at all these details, we have come up with lots of fundings which will be published very soon with panels and agricultural resources. I will be looking into some of our findings, which I have put here as the missing links. All these points constitute what is called the missing links, or what is called the forgotten issues in the course of our research. So if one looks at the history of Tipaimukh Dam, we all know that it's been a very muddy one that exempt, or that does not contain any democratic process. However, before that, if one looks back a little to the history of this project, it would be very good for all of us to know that the government of Assam in the year 1954 initiated this project looking at two sites for damming the river. However, after employing the Central Water Power Commission, they halted this project because of two very important findings. One is saying that it is ecological unsafe, and then another is saying that it is economically unviable. I won't go into details explaining all that. However, it will be very important for us to, again, see what they have meant by ecologically unsafe. Not even 2 months back in Vangai Range, in Tipaimukh area, there was a volcanic eruption, not of a big scale, and there were landslides also that destroyed lots of houses in many of the villages. So the villagers out there had to resort to a man of prayer who prayed for God's helping and to stop that eruption. So that way, absence of any science and knowledge, it was somehow stopped in a very miraculous manner. But if one looks at the findings of the Central Water Commission and take this ecological or geological realities again today, it is worth questioning whether the government of India or NHPC or NEPCO for that matter has conducted any serious study whether the ecology out there, the environment out there, or the land out there would able to carry all these big, heavy structures in the future. Because, as I say, just on the other side, we have many small projects as well. So one cannot just ignore all these findings and be very romantic with this project in the name of development. So I just wanted each of us to just recollect the findings of the SIPHRO Water Commission, which was submitted in the year 1965 to the government of Assam by the CWC, which actually halted the government of Assam's effort to build this project. Otherwise, the government of Assam would have, much before our knowledge of this, much before we on the government, we on Manipur side initiated this dialogue, discussion, but they would have, in the absence of the democratic process, finished the project by now. But it was, I must say, very human, very voice on the bird to consider this very two important points of the CWC findings. Otherwise, we do not know what the colors of tragedy this project would have in by now. So these two important factors, the ecological factors, the geological factors, as man, as human being, despite the haze of science that we have climbed with, we just cannot ignore these realities, because just a little rainfall or downpour, be it in Mizoram, be it in Tipaimukh, all these areas frequently confront landslides and the problems like this, which again is proof that, as I'm stressing on the geological ecological aspect, I must say that even the probe or the dam building agencies must consider these realities, because contextualization of our knowledge or understanding is the need of the hour. Until unless we learn to do that, the idea of dams development, which has been a big or success story in the parts of India, but can never be. Even democracy is. Democracy is supposed to be about representation. It's about welfare. It's about development. It's about everything good. It could be in the parts of India, but we have also realized that this failed dramatically here in Manipur. Similarly, the case of dams as water temples, if we again look at it, must be critically analyzed, not just because democracy fails here, but because of the adverse impact that it could have on the indigenous people, livelihood, culture, future, identity, the development as a human being, and the question of survival as well, which may not be very important for people from other parts of the state. I realize this sometimes in the beginning of this year. I met the Joint Secretary Northeastern Church, who was in Burma. He was very enthusiastic to see this structure coming up very soon. I told him that in the absence of any democratic process, without the consent and approval of the people who will be affected, it would be very unwise for the government or any of the implementing agencies to proceed with this project. But then he bluntly said that this must be built and forget those people who will be affected. just come up with something that will be good for the region, for the people. So, from the time onwards, it was his statement itself was a negation of the entire concept of development, or with the indigenous people or with the affected people, and he was negating the entire idea of democracy as well.